Liquid. Alright, excuse me for the small casting break there. You've enjoyed some silence. Now, let's get back to the game and back to casting. We had an amazing scout there from Kyo, who just bounced his Reaper from this grenade position over the edge of the gateway. Very cool to see. And we're gonna get a Voodoo Mine drop, which is just not gonna be seen here by this observer. So, beautiful setup, beautiful potential here. Damage from Cure. Widow Mines have been nerfed significantly though. So they will notify you now if you get targeted. And your screen is not over the position. Wow, this observer gets away. So this has been the observer buff. It's get 10 more shields. So yeah, it will get away more often than not actually. There we go, Widow Mines are burrowing, so you can see now which unit has been targeted, because it's gonna light up red, like this. And one, there, this, boom, see? And they're not cloaked. If you have the armory, you need actually drilling claws. And also, the splash radius was nerfed. It was reduced. The Widow Mines are significantly weaker in this patch. And stellar defense so far. Or Creator. Well, I would say that if you would have gotten actually both mines there, losing 2 probes and only killing 1 mine is not really what you're looking for. But Creator also known more for his PvZ than PvT. He's definitely a very good PvT player as well, but feels like this might be his weakest matchup all. And Yo is probably the whole opposite. Okay, so this interaction I was kind of waiting to see. Hellion against sentries. So sentries have like, they don't have light anymore. They're not light unit. You can see this is a light unit, the adept. In the bottom right, it says there. The sentry was light. Now it's only mechanical. It was light mechanical. And Hellions, for example, deal extra damage, bonus damage against light. So coming in, swooping in with a Hellion and like 3-shotting or 4-shotting a sentry is not gonna happen anymore. They're like so sturdy now against those versus light units. Also, they don't die quickly to ghosts anymore. There's like a lot of bonuses actually. This did affect not only PvP. This is definitely a change that makes the sentry way stronger overall in all matchups. I'm not actually sure. That's a good question. If the Reaper does extra damage against light, it might be, yeah. I don't think so though. But actually it might be, because they have been wrecking sentries as well, haven't they? Definitely going to check after this game. I guess like the biggest one was always you could so easily snipe sentries with Hellions in that very early game. So of course you only kind of commit to sentries in the early game or very late game, right, as Protoss. And if you build up sentries early, you can get a lot of scouting, a lot of energy, you can get force feeds, you can get guardian shields into basically every engagement, and that's really good. But if the Terran decides to make like a 3 to 5 Hellion opening or 4 Hellion opening with like some Reapers, they just wreck those sentries, right? And that's what used to happen. Oh my god, those mines did deal some good damage there, but are not gonna be able to finish off these zealots. This attack's also commencing in the front, and we are kind of having a base trade right now. And the wall's not up here for Cure. Cure's army though is looking so mighty powerful. We have so many mines, we have so many bio units. And Creator smartly already rebuilding a base in the top right. But he cannot get out any probes. Does he have probes down here? No, it's just a zealot weapon. So he's trying to hide these probes over here. But I think Kyo's gonna find those. Yeah, easy. He's gonna see them, he's gonna destroy them. And Kyo is already evacuating so many SCVs and they're going into the top. So he might just be able to luckily scout this position. His Nexus is not gonna be able to finish in time, so he cannot recall all of these probes. And he's just gonna lose all of his economy, which is completely putting them all in. Okay, so far, these only have run into units. But he's like, hey, why do we have everything in the top? It should be a tell. And he should definitely kind of hunt down these probes, because he's losing a lot of... He is only down to 5 SCVs himself, so basically he lost all of the SCVs. He's finding this probe transfer, but it's not going to be in time to get all of those, and actually about 10 make it away there. Very interesting position. So we're going to kill all of the Nexi here on the side of Kratos' base, and well, most of the production is floating. He can just re-land, he can just reproduce, he has all the orbitals floating. I think he has the better army, right? 67 to 62 supply, we have +1 done. There is no SCV though, so if Raider decides to start poking at those depots, he can basically lock Cure from ever producing anything again. Until he loses his army basically, and then the game is done anyways, right? He needs to be careful though. Running forward with those mines is not really what you're doing there, but Creator not quick enough on identifying the mistake. We've got a High Templar, which has Storm actually, so this is huge. He can also feedback, but we actually have 3 High Templars and 6 Storm here going down on those Widow mines. Very well done. Seeker Missile, trying to reduce the armor there, is going to snipe one of those Templars, only losing a couple of Marines. There was a little bit of a blunder definitely for Creator. Creator, He can't produce anything. He is so low on pylons. He basically is making shield batteries. I love this decision. He's saying, okay, let's fortify this position, make some batteries, let's try to not lose what we actually have, and then we're gonna go ahead and get some extra pylons. Get some over here though, mate. Like, make some pylons over here. And he's gonna go back and try to repower his gateways. So he's sending out one probe, try to make pylons back in his base again, while he tries to hold his position. So far I really like the idea from Creator, but Cure still has 3 orbitals and he's basically rebuilding everything. He's making SCVs, he's dropping mules, he can make army again. So yeah, it might just, like, the damage done to the base wasn't enough here for Creator, it feels. And Cure definitely did more than enough. He just, basically, time is in his favor, right? He can just sit back, defend from these units, which are not gonna get reinforced anytime soon. I mean, maybe in a little bit, once those pylons are finishing. There we go, we could make one Zealot right now, or a Stalker. Yeah, see, even a retarget here. Flash on the Zergers. We've got one probe in this army, he needs to fix this one. He needs every ounce of minerals he can mine right now. And the Stalkers are actually committing back. I don't think this is the right move. You should definitely not split your army right now here as Creator. And this also doesn't allow you to poke at this space again. He's never gonna get the damage on those orbitals he needs. And there we go, yeah, he's just gonna go into his main base. Even gonna save some of his units there. He's gonna lose some ACVs, but as you can see, this is not getting poked up. The Stalkers there, they've been away so far. They're shooting at the refinery right now. They should be shooting at these command centers. That's where you kind of need to put the Terran at a disadvantage. Finally, we got some Stalkers over here, but this is just gonna float away. It's not enough. This base was also evacuated into the main base. So all of the orbitals are still alive. It's still 3 orbitals, and that's just... it's just way too much. Oh my god, so many clumped up units there. EMPs really hitting the juice. And he can start making whatever he wants. He's making ghosts for now. Getting some marauders, getting some beefy units here against the storms basically is what he wants. Something to snipe down the storms, something to snipe down those Templars, sorry, sentries. And at this point, I think Raider has lost too many units. He's been trading not favorably enough. He didn't pick off any of the CCs, and we're only down to like 5 Stalkers and a couple Zealots. The Zealots also get picked off. We still have like one last hurrah here at the base in the top right, but yeah. What did I say, mate? So he didn't use his time to reproduce any extra bases or to create really that many extra units. And in the end, Liquid Cure. Well, he had enough room, he had enough potential to rebuild anything he wanted to, even though he was down basically to 0 SCVs. He had 3 orbitals, he had open supply, he can drop mules, he can make SCVs, he can make army, he had so much production still alive. Basically the infrastructure was still kind of intact for him, and for Creator it was all out of place. Every pylon was down, every base was down, there was no ability to reproduce pure probes at all. He needed to first make pylons, defend his position, keep his army alive, and then remake the infrastructure, and then he can start on expanding again. Could've, which he of course didn't do, but it feels like he definitely did not play this correctly. But it might have been like a good position from the start from Cure, just because of his army size. And the start of the base trade felt like it was way better, and the quality of his army, than the one we saw from Creator there. The second map is gonna be Oceanborn. I'm just quickly gonna check if the Reaper is actually dealing extra damage. too light. Doesn't seem like he has. He is a light unit. Yeah, so the Reaper does not have any. It's just very fast. Deals like 10 damage. Or 4 damage. With his doubles. Like 4, so it's 8 damage in one swing, basically. It's like 10 DPS or something, and a Sentry has like what, 80 health? So it's like 8 shots or something. You have like 3 Reapers, you can kind of almost 2-shot Sentries. I think. Like, yeah. You can kill them very, very quickly. Just because the Sentry is so low on health and shield. Okay. So let's get back into the next game. Oceanborn. Top left we have our Protoss player Creator, losing out on the base rate earlier. And in the top, bottom right, we have Liquid Cure. Who has been kind of on fire and then, you know, kind of not on fire and like a little bit on and off over the last couple years, really. He has been, he won a GSL, then he kind of fell out again, fell short in the big stages on IM, and didn't really make as much of a splash as many people expected him to. And then I think last year at Gamers 8 he went into the finals, so he was almost grabbing that trophy. He was like kind of peak Cure again, and then he fell short in the finals, and since then he hasn't been really a GSL winning Cure, right? Oh, he's definitely a little bit of a hit-miss character. But he's definitely, well, if he's on fire, he's looking like he could be the best player on Earth. He's definitely one of those super, super high peak personalities. He's going for a double gas. So there's gonna be an early aggression here from Phil. Yeah, Creator on the other hand, he's like a kind of peaking personality himself. It's kind of funny, those two are really similar in that regard, because Creator sometimes, I think he made it into the finals of GSL like a couple years ago maybe. He was really, really, really high up there in the extremely early stages of the game, like talking Wings of Liberty 2012, I think he made it into the GSL finals. And then completely fell off. He fell so hard off. He was always playing with Jin Air, so one of the teams that also stayed alive the longest, supporting players and all that. So that definitely benefited him, I think, to not just throw the towel. But after the disbanding and everything happened, and basically everyone was kind of going back to like, okay, I need to like either have a personal sponsorship, like a kind of a smaller team or something that supports me, or basically just get out results to keep on playing. He was kind of going, you know, he was doing better, actually. And I think like he's a very confident type of player, so he needs confidence in his play to actually be really good, or play at his level that he should be at. And it feels like he has been kind of regaining that confidence in the past few years, really. And he has been doing really good. As I said, he went into another GSL finals. He did not win the final. I'm pretty sure it was a finals. It might have been a round of 4, but it was a really deep run. So it was a great run for him. And he has been showing amazing results on and offline, really. Kind of also playing some of the most amazing games you've seen. And yeah, it feels like he has been lacking sometimes a little bit of luck, a little bit of decision making not going his favor, some, you know, piece of the puzzle that doesn't fall into his bowl there. and he cannot use, and that's the missing key piece that decides the game in the end. He has been kind of improving really good, and it has been to a point where a couple years ago, yeah, kind of at this point a couple years ago, he was really peaking as one of the best PvZ players in the world, and well, now he's a little bit lower again, so well, it feels like he's not really at the peak performance again. But it's a new patch, and Creator is someone who I'm always on the lookout for. Hey, how is he performing right now? How is he actually doing? And I think this is one of the benefits for him personally. He has been always struggling against Widowmine drops. As you can see, like, this Widowmine, it only killed 2 probes. Okay, he did do a good pull, but he doesn't kill off any of the mines. He doesn't kill the medivacs. He only damages the medivac a little bit. And that's like for example, him versus Parting or versus Stats, for example. Those guys, they kill both Widowmines, kill the medivac, and they might just shave off a couple of Marines at the same time at the front. That's like the difference, right? They completely smash this into the ground. And this patch, Widowmines have been, as I said earlier, they have been nerfed a ton. Like literally a ton. I think the biggest nerf is the message you get when you are being targeted and not after those explosions, right? I think that's the biggest change to the Widowmine itself. The biggest nerf as a harassment unit there. And, well, we've got auto turret harassment here in north. Been doing a great job. Raven. Taking a lot of damage though. And this Widowmine also finally goes down, so no reshot. But like, a Creator before the patch to this harassment would have probably lost already 10 to 15 probes. Right now he's still up in workers. He has his 3rd base on the way. And we see no 3rd here for Cure. I think he's definitely gonna benefit specifically in this matchup as well. Because in the late game he's been always looking really good. Sometimes, as I say, we saw just in the game before, in the base trade, like his decision making can be off. And just not on point, not on par with all of these other clutch players. He's definitely not as clutch as many of the other Protoss players on the high caliber there. But he makes it usually up with like solid foundational things. Yeah, a little bit fanboying here over Creator, but let's take another look at the game. So far, harassment hasn't really been doing that what Cure was looking for, and he's pushing out with an army here with the tank. I expect this to only be a poke though, unless he really reinforced this one. Gonna be 2 medivacs if he decides to go for it. And auto turret harassment coming in again, snagging a couple probes here. Raven not doing too much, but it's not gonna get actually dealt with, so well, he knows now 2 turrets have been used. The Raven is out of energy, so he has like 50 seconds or something. The Raven needs to regain energies to come back and harass, so he's just gonna get the 2 stalkers and put them into the front army. But sometimes the Creator forgets about those things, and then he doesn't have anything to defend. There's a shield battery though at home, so it should be okay. Just let the Raven do his thing. Then we've got the double tanks here. I would have loved like few SCVs, like 3 SCVs, make 2 bunkers, maybe 3 bunkers, and have some repair here. And this could have been a super strong push. Now it is still a strong push. Was not as committed. Lovely stuff. So much damage. Wow. Triggering the shield there on the Immortal. Very well done. Yo is not in position to hit the base. If he had bunkers, he has so much time, right? He can just place down 2 bunkers, can move his tanks a little bit forward, and can start sieging the base. Right now he's in a good position to move forward with some bio and then poke out and in, out and in and out, whatever you want to call it. Which he's doing, but it's definitely not as much of a hassle as if you have like tanks in a position, fortified and just shelling at you. Alright, let's see what Creator decides to do. Some zealots coming from the bottom here to flank these tanks. Really love this move. Storm onto the tanks as well, soften up this solidified position there, and just completely gonna break it. Just had enough storms to wreck this up, really. And yeah, KR is on the run. Really well done here. Very well executed by Creator. Even picking up the Zealot into the War Prison there, saving it from the Widow Mine. Amazingly done. And that's one of those, yeah, other nerfs, right? It's so easy to see now. The Widow Mine. Which unit does it shoot at? It's so easy to see. It's just red. If you remember, this was, there we go. Where is it? Wait, the Raven. Okay, it dropped its turret here on the 3rd base, actually. So yeah, if you remember, this was a feature in the observer interface at first. And now it's actually a feature in the actual game. And I don't think I love it, to be honest. It's just like so easy now. Yeah, as you say, it's hard to shine when you have Serral and Maru. A little bit of a tell that you don't name any strong Protoss players, right? But definitely the case. Some of those people are just the actual outperformer there. And that's not gonna find too much here on the 3rd. Also not gonna buy too much time. Raider, does he see this army rotation? Actually, he does not, so he's lacking a lot of map vision right now. And this could be a good position here, even a Nexus snipe for KR maybe. Raider still is here in time, but he gets a lot of EMP splash over his army. Still gonna defend his position though. Yeah, Serral has to go to the army now, so I was fortunate enough to talk with him a little bit after his win at IM Katowice. And we were talking as well about the army and how he feels about this. And he was like, yeah, he's not gonna be the Serral he was until the IM Katowice ran. And he was actually feeling a little bit down about like going to army. He wasn't really happy about it. I mean, of course, who would be? But he also didn't seem too stressed about it. I mean, he just came off the hottest win, right, again, so... Pretty good stuff. Okay, you're trying to push in here, but into Storms and Disruptors? I don't think so. You don't go up that ramp. There's also a flank just waiting here. Creator is really locked tight, but... This drop into the main, this could be the game changer here. It seems though all of these storm drops have been just too much. Oh my god, even killing 2 medivacs down the retreat. The full one is gonna escape though, so at least some of the army is still in place. But it felt like those units did just go down to storm, and this frontal attack also doesn't seem to do what he is trying to do here. There's no zealot support though with this fight, but still the immortal stalker composition is gonna be enough here. And as you can see, it's just so easy to dodge those Widow Mines now, or to sacrifice a unit you actually want to sacrifice. Those pro gamers, they should not really, in PvP, if it's not a big fight, if it's a retreating thing, they shouldn't lose too many units in the end at this point, the Widow Mines. They just don't feel good at this point. There we go. The retreating forces are not really being covered here for KR. We still got this medivac coming in. Definitely a slip up here from Creator, who kind of forgot about this again. But if he can just push through this area, he might just win out the game. Gonna get the Ghost Academy. That's gonna be a good pick off. No more ghosts here for a while. I hope we still have some in production. But in fact, it's all Marauders being produced here. So no more ghosts. Means no more EMPs against eventual storms. And this small force has been just completely wrecking this position, but the third has been killed off. The main army has been sliced to death. And I think we're gonna see the reminders here from Cure. GG! As 2-2 just completes. Creator takes the game. Very well done by him. Yeah, Cyril, man. I mean, he has the edge that he definitely has the confidence, and he has like one of his biggest weapons, in my opinion, is he stays most of the time composed. Like, just staying so calm as he does. It's such a weapon. It feels like very few players have this. So, I could name maybe 4 players. And you're gonna say one of those, well, he just came back, which would be Stats. That's some of those people who doesn't really like fall to pressure. Then you have like mental pressure, right? Then you have Reina, who is someone who thrives on this environment, which is a little bit strange because that's definitely the rarer case. He's someone who thrives from that pressure. He feels like mentally pressured and he's just gonna explode above. And then you have, of course, Cyril, who feels most of the times completely unfazed. Like, he's definitely the calmest in this. And then I think you still have Maru as well, who's a little bit like Cyril in that regard, as he does not really, like, he stays calm most of the times. But it feels like Maru is a little bit easier to crumble under pressure in general, or mental pressure, than Cyril is. And like it's just like tiny mistakes, right? Not to make. And those kind of add up, and in a professional environment they can basically cost you the game, right? And it feels like Cyril, if he's completely laser focused, he doesn't do those mistakes. And if he doesn't do those mistakes, it feels like he can't lose, right? That's why people have been calling him the GOAT, and I think it's not far-fetched. Alright, let's hop into game number 3. It is still Cure against Creator. Let's talk a bit about these players. You're, well, definitely an, if you say so, unlucky player in the top left, and in the bottom right on Ghost River, sorry, top right on Ghost River, we have Creator. Yeah, Cure is someone who's definitely overshadowed by those personalities, and I think rightfully so, because he can peak above them, but he cannot really dethrone them, right? At least not for long. If he can, it's maybe like a half a year, maybe a year, but it feels like Amaru will always come back on top. Cyril will always come back on top. Reina will always come back on top. Those players, they will always just be there, and they will always come back, swing in full force, and just destroy you again. And Cure does not feel like that personality yet, right? Sometimes he peaks above, but then he kind of falls off again, and it doesn't feel as dominant when he peaks as some of those other players. Alright. So this is Ghost River. It's a close by air map, and this rush distance is actually really short. So we saw earlier a game Nightmare and Oliveira, where we had a very early poke with the Zealot, and I think it was a low ground gate just in his wall, and a Zealot and a couple Stalkers to open up. And literally just those 3 units, they destroyed the only Marine that was there. They destroyed the depot, they destroyed, I think, 2 SCVs and 1 more extra Marine, and they didn't lose anything. And made time completely over-defend. It sacrificed so many things. His third base timing for extra tanks, for extra, like just 1 upgrade, for extra units, extra Marines, and those didn't do anything in the end. Completely got wrecked by Nightmare. There we go. Robo on the way here. And I do not spy a Twilight. Interesting. So Creator not going for the standard blink opening here. Not even charge, not even glaives. It's gonna be a robo, a fast robo. This could be kind of anything yet. Could see disruptor drops, which probably are not gonna happen because there's not too much airspace. Actually, behind the mineral lines, we could see an immortal opening. We could see just a warp prism opening with like 4 gates, for example. And we also could just see quick observers and get some map vision. It's gonna be a warp prism for now. This is probably the most likely opening here. Gonna be third base behind us, I hope, rather soon. Well, right now would be very, very early, but as you saw the Hellions, of course, he threw down a couple gates there. The Hellions themselves are light, right? And the Adepts, they do have bonus damage. They're also light. 22 versus light. These Hellions, they also have plus 14 versus light. And sentries could be strong against Hellions right now. You can put sentries into a wall, actually. Kind of funny. There we go. Observer. Okay, so this could be the perfect defense against this Widowmine drop. If he decides to pull back the Observer and if he is not out of position against these Hellions, okay, this could be also a disaster. We've got a couple probes in the top here. Third probe falling and 1 Widowmine being dropped into the main base. More probes still falling here, but only 6 probes. Well, you only lost 2 Hellions though. So yeah, I like this. It's 2 Hellions for 6 probes and he still has this Widowmine drop sitting here. Tight and pretty behind the base. He also did completely scout what's happening on the other side. And he should know there's probably a Warp Prism on my end of the map, but he was a little bit late, out of position here. We've got the mines again coming in. And as you can see, the reactions, they're way faster now. If you do not attack at the same time, it feels... Oh boy, that's not... What? Greater! Okay, so it feels like if you do not attack at the same time and a different position, it feels very hard to force damage, I was about to say. But Creator is kind of donating 8 probes there to Cure, so happy Cure, who's also losing 15 SCVs against this offensive Warp Prism play. And there's another good shot, 3 more probes going down. 1 Widowmine is gonna actually reload and get 1 more probe here before it goes down. So tons and tons of damage for both players here. But man, that was definitely avoidable. This mine shot over here, like probes trying to kill down a mine which hasn't shot yet. Oh, Creator, that was a big mistake. If he would have kept those 8 workers, he would be so far ahead. He would be like up 40 to 30 SCVs. Gonna recall, this is gonna get killed and the Warp Prism makes it out, so the Viking does not finish it off. In the end, I still like it more for Creator. He has the 3rd on the way. He has, well, he's a little bit low on army maybe, a little bit light, but it doesn't feel like tanks can really do the trick here. I don't think there is upgrades yet, so it might have been even a cancelled upgrade. Didn't catch this, but there's no stim, it just started again. I'm pretty sure this was a cancel. Deny on the stim there, but yeah, with 1 Colossus he should definitely be able to push it. We do have the interference matrix research though, so 1 Colossus, he can like hot pick it up. Okay, there we go. Auto turret is gonna be forced here, so the Colossus is not gonna get disabled. So what you can do is like you can see the interference missile shooting out, and then you pick up the Colossus inside the Warp Prism as it flies, and then you can dodge the projectile. The spell, basically. There we go. What is this? A probe drop? Yeah, that was bait. That was kind of cool to see, but I'm a little bit shocked and stunned that he picked up 6 probes and just dropped them inside his army. Like, yeah, I can drop things. Okay. So much for that. We have slow zealots and slow stalkers trying to come in, deal some damage. One Colossus is still kind of barely alive here. This rally needs to get fixed. Finally, we go there. An Immortal going in here. Warp Prism. Number 2 is there. And we have a double dub in position here. And yeah, so far this well, is kind of... Q is very stable and Creator is kind of falling apart to the pressure, it feels like again. Like, dropping probes, that one big mistake on the probe pull definitely hurt him so much. Still, are we still lacking a Twilight? Yeah, there's no upgrades on these gateway units, and he needs at least charge. At this point, you need at least charge, and he doesn't have any. He doesn't even have a Twilight. He gets a Forge now. I mean, great if you can get +1, yeah, but there's no Twilight. There is no charge. There is no blink. What are you gonna do with those Stalkers and those Zealots? And it's still no. I think he just simply has forgotten. He's making so many gates. Okay, cool. You can stay alive, but you need something to actually able to win those fights. And yeah, that's a big drop on the north here. Completely going unscouted. The army is totally out of position here for Creator. All down in the south. We only have... oh my god. Zealots blocking the probes even there. Slow Zealots and a no blink Stalker trying to defend this. The Warp Prism is gonna be your blink. Colossi blinker, but it gets picked up by a Widowmine there. And so far, this is getting pushed back for now, but it's just a relocation into the main here. Luckily, we had the second Warp Prism already, so the first one going down isn't that big of a deal, but this is also completely undefended. One no-charge Zealot, getting slowed by the Marauders, not gonna find anything. Good splits though against the mines. And the Sentry, look at the Sentry not being killed. Bulky Sentry. But yeah, you can just like deny the space with 3 units essentially. It's amazing. Or maybe the Sentry can come and just kill it. It's strong now. It has extra damage against sheep. There we go. Q coming in again, ravaging the main base here. Creator being down, 17 probes again. Q behind this, we haven't taken a look at his base in a while because, well, everything's happening on Creator side of the map. Everything's looking very good. We have a ghost transition already being done. First ghost coming out. And, well, we should have an armory and the second engineering bay here in a second to get our extra upgrades going. But we have 3 bases solid up in mining. He can also just go for a 4th first if he wants to, and then start his upgrades. Basically, the world is his oyster. And he can do whatever he wants to. This hallucination even does not get the scout. He doesn't even know. See, he doesn't know about this. And he's gonna get dropped again. Just 2 units coming in, sniping 1 probe. I mean, okay, that's not really what you were looking for there as Cure, but it is a distraction. There's the main push, and Cure just wins the game like that. Very well done. Terran, and yeah, completely pulling Creator there apart. I think Creator fell apart when he kind of made a mistake with the probes onto the Widowmine. That was definitely where he really like crumbled under the pressure. And if he didn't make that mistake, he's ahead so many workers. He's ahead like almost 25% economy. And that's where 2 base meal does not really make up for it, and where you really want to be as pros player. You're like 25% workers ahead. That's super strong. Usually you want to be ahead like 10 workers, right? But most of the... Not when it's like 30 to 40, then it's super strong. If it's like... If your opponent's at 30 workers, you want to be at like 35 or something. You want to be like 10% ahead. He was ahead 25%. And then he just sacrificed another 8 workers. Bam! Into 1 Widowmine. Huge mistake.